Hi everyone and greetings from Australia. Welcome back to our channel. My name is Ruth and I am an Australian immigration law practitioner here in Australia. Well, in today's video, I would like to share with you 7 things you must do in order to prepare for your Australian partner visa. Now, please do not treat the contents of this video as legal or migration advice because each case is to be assessed based on a case-by-case basis. But I hope that the contents of this video will provide you with a brief overview as to what you need to look out for if you were interested in applying for an Australian partner visa. So let's get started, shall we? So what are the 7 things you must do in order to attain an Australian partner visa? So first of all, you need to establish if you meet the partner visa criteria. Now, this is very, very important. Basically, in order to meet the criteria, you must show that you're either a legally married couple, and the marriage has to be recognized by Australian law, or if you've met the 12-month de facto requirement, and if you do not, then in some states, you may be able to register a civil union registration, which will bypass the 12-month requirement. So that means that even if you cannot show that you are a de facto couple for at least 12 months, if you're able to show a civil union registration, potentially your application can also be accepted. However, showing 12-month de facto or civil union or marriage, these are not the only requirement for partner visa, because you must show that your relationship is genuine. And some of the things will be discussed in today's video, from the 2nd thing to the 7th thing. So first thing, establish if you meet the partner visa criteria, which is 12-month de facto or married, or if you cannot meet the 12-month de facto requirement, then the question would be, can you register your relationship as a civil union? The 2nd thing you must do to attain an Australian partner visa is you must establish to see if you are able to show financial commitment to one another. So in this case, the Australian immigration usually recommends that the couple, or rather they prefer if the couple can show that you have a joint bank account. Now, in some cases, couples will have all their money together in the one bank account. Now, I know that nowadays in modern society, we may not have that. So in some cases, I have seen clients who have one joint account and then they have a separate account, for pay. But every week they would put in, say, $100 each to the joint account. And from that joint account, they'll buy their groceries, they'll pay their rent, pay their bills, and then they might have a travel account, etc., etc. It is important to show that you are committed to one another. In some cases, I noticed that some of my clients may not necessarily have a joint bank account, but they actually share their finances in a sense that the husband, for example, would pay for the mortgage, the rates, all the bills, and the wife, she might pay for the kids' school uniform. So they share their finances in that sense. Or when they go out, sometimes the husband will pay, sometimes the wife will pay. However, having a joint account is usually a good idea. Okay, so if you haven't got a joint account already, then we would definitely recommend that you open one. Apart from that, in terms of finances, immigration will also look at things like whether you share your assets. For example, if you own a house together, or land together, or car. And also the other document that would be really, really helpful to meet the financial requirement is if you have superannuation. For our overseas friends who are watching this, you may not have heard of what superannuation is, but really it's a retirement fund. So for example, if you've been working for the last 5 or 10 years and your employer has been putting in some money for your retirement fund, so in terms of the superannuation, there is a provision in which, or rather usually there is a provision in which you can nominate a beneficiary. So what that means is if something happens to you, where or who will the money go to? So it's always a good idea to nominate your partner, your spouse, as the beneficiary to your superannuation, because it goes on to show that you really care about the person, you really are committed to the person. Now, in some cases, you might nominate, say, 50% will go to your spouse and 25% to your children. Or if this is a second marriage or third marriage and you want to leave something behind for your kids from a previous relationship, then obviously you have that prerogative to do so. So it's not that you have to give 100%, so it is a personal decision. But in the eyes of immigration, they do take things like this fairly seriously. So I would say do consider nominating your spouse or your partner as the beneficiary. So that's the second thing. Third thing, evidence of same address. Now this is important, especially if you live together already. I mean, we understand that we have clients who they are married, but they're living in a separate country. So for that, it's really difficult to show that they're living together because they're in a separate country. So we just have to go on and show evidence in a more creative way. But in a sense where if you're living together, then it's very important that you show that you share the same address. So this would be things like evidence of joint mails or individual mails, for example, your car registration, insurance, your phone bill. So all of these should actually be showing the same address, which is to your home address. And things like utility bills, should be in joint names. For example, gas bill or telephone bill and internet, etc. Now, I understand that sometimes it's quite difficult to actually get two persons on a bill. Like previously, it was a lot easier, but now I think most of the utility companies encourage just one person to be the main account holder. And even so, in most cases, you can actually ring up the utility companies and say, hey, I know that I'm the main holder for the account, but in case if I go travel, for work and my spouse needs to be in touch with you, can she be added as the person, the authorized person, I suppose. So if you have that, then she's added. So if you are the main holder and your spouse is actually the secondary holder of the account, then you can scan a copy of that and provide that to immigration as well. So that's always a good evidence to show that you are in the same address. So that's the third thing. The fourth thing is communication. Now, communication is so important. So if you're looking at applying for partner visa and you've been, texting each other a lot, calling each other a lot, do not delete any of the messages. Don't delete the call logs. You want to download the phone logs or contact your phone company, because communication, it's a solid evidence to show that you are in a relationship. Why would you communicate with each other if you're not in a real relationship? So in this instance, we always recommend that our clients take screenshots or just different portions of messages and compile them and show immigration that here is the progression of our communication. Now, immigration doesn't expect to receive all of your call logs from 3 or 10 years ago, because it's too much, but also at the same time, there are things that you might want to keep private and confidential, but as much as possible, if you can take screenshots of just general communication, like for example, miss you babe, I'll see you at home from work, or hey, can you get milk for the kids? Just really normal day-to-day conversation as a couple. That's going to really help the application, okay? So that's number 4. So the 5th thing you must do for an Australian partner visa is evidence of social setting. So this could involve social media, such as if you post something on Facebook as a family, you went somewhere for the weekend or to the beach, then you want to actually compile a list of different posts on social media to show that you're not ashamed of your relationship. This is your relationship. And might I just add that sometimes immigration will also go on Facebook and search for the relationship to see if it is a genuine relationship or if it's a fake relationship. So you should be aware of that. And other channels such as YouTube or Instagram, etc. And also they want to know what you like to do as a couple in social settings. So usually I'll say to my clients, hey, what do you like to do as a couple? So they'll tell me, oh, we like to take the dog for a walk in the park. We like to go to the gym together, or we like to go shopping, or we like to go see our family and friends, etc. So photos taken and any joint travel, all of these will be really, really good evidence that you're doing things as a couple or as a family. So that's the 5th thing you must do. The 6th thing you must do for a partner visa is you need to also share with immigration the development of your relationship. Now, it's all about, we call it the facts of the case. It's so important. So important to establish when you first met, when you committed to each other, and how it developed, and which led to your marriage or your partner relationship, and also your future plans. Like, for example, what do you want to do in the future? Well, perhaps you want to start a family, or perhaps you want to travel together, or perhaps you want to buy a house together. So it is quite okay to actually share with immigration very briefly as to your future plans with each other. So that's item number 6. And finally, the 7th thing you must do for a partner visa is witnesses. So it's so important to have witnesses to corroborate the fact that you are in a genuine relationship. So usually 2 Australians are required, minimum of 2 Australians. They need to provide what we call a form 888. They need to fill that out and get it signed before a justice of the peace or an appropriate witness. In our caseloads, we always like to encourage our clients to also provide additional witness statements. So we usually even say to them, like, just get 6 witness statements if you can from different friends, family members, or employer. But at the same time, if one of the couple's family members live overseas, then we also get them to do a statutory declaration to say that yeah, we know about the relationship, we think they're really good together, because it's always good for family members overseas to verify the facts of the case. So that's very, very important. So to summarize, the 7 things you must do for a partner visa are, first of all, establish your relationship, establish if you meet the partner visa criteria. Number 2, finances. Number 3, evidence of same address. Number 4, evidence of communication. Number 5, evidence of social setting. Number 6, development of relationship. And number 7, witnesses. Now, please note that the list is not exhaustive. So these are not the only thing that's required for a partner visa. There are other forms. There's character requirement. There is health requirement, a whole heap of other things that you need to show for the partner visa. But as a starting point, I think this will hopefully give you a brief overview as to what immigration is looking for if you're preparing a partner visa application. So if you need help with partner visa, we actually, we do a lot of different visas. We do tourist visas, students visas, skilled visas. But personally, this is sort of my area. This is something that we really focus on. And by far, we've been very, very successful in partner visa cases. And so if you need help, just drop us an email on the email address below, and we'd be happy to assist. So once again, please do not treat the contents of this email as legal or migration advice. But if you need help, just contact us. Otherwise, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and we wish you the very best in your future endeavors.